Hi, this is SOSF. Alright, settle in folks, pull up a stool, and let's get into some weird stuff. So, I just went down this rabbit hole, man. A real deep dive into this book, The Windup Girl, by this guy Paolo Bacigalupi. And let me tell you, it's a trip. It's one of those things that gets its hooks in your brain and just won't let go. It paints this picture of the future that's, man, it's intense. It's not your shiny flying cars, everyone in silver jumpsuits kind of future. Nah, this is a gritty, sweaty, down in the mud kind of world. And the crazy thing is, it feels real. Like, too real. So, picture this. The whole petroleum party is over. The oil's gone, kaput. The contraction, they call it. And everything we built on cheap energy just crumbled. Think about that for a second. Your car? Useless lump of metal. The global supply chain that brings you avocados in December? Gone. The whole world we know, this interconnected web of planes, trains, and massive container ships. It just snapped. The world got big again. Suddenly, where your food comes from is the only thing that matters. It's not about who has the most Twitter followers, man, it's about who's got the calories. And that's where things get gnarly. Because when food becomes the most valuable thing on the planet, people get real creative, and not always in a good way. The big players in this new world are these massive corporations, these calorie companies. Think of them like the tech giants of today, your Googles and Amazons, but instead of data, they control life itself. AgriGen, PureCal, Total Nutrient Holdings. These guys are the new kings. They're based in the American Midwest, which is now this fortress of genetic engineering. They've got these patented seeds, generic rice, soy PRO, high-grow corn, and they're the only things that can survive the crazy plagues they probably unleashed in the first place. Yeah, that's the other thing. The world is just wrecked by plagues. But we're not talking about stuff that hits humans, not directly anyway. We're talking about blister rust, cibiscosis, genie hack weevils. These custom-made bioengineered nightmares that wipe out crops. It's like a permanent pandemic for plants. One day you've got a field of rice, the next it's a puddle of red rusty goop. And who has the cure? The calorie companies, of course. For a price. They've got the whole world by the balls. Countries are starving, collapsing. Burma, Vietnam, India. They're all on their knees, begging for a shipment of patented grain just to keep their people from turning into skeletons. It's a brutal monopoly on survival itself. Imagine having to pay a subscription fee just to eat. It's wild. So, in the middle of all this chaos, you've got the Thai kingdom, Bangkok. And this is where the story really gets its flavor. Thailand is this little island of survival in a sea of desperation. They've managed to hold out. They slammed their doors shut, told the calorie companies to get bent, and they're fighting tooth and nail to stay independent. It's a city that should be underwater, and parts of it are, but they've built these massive seawalls and they use these insane coal-burning pumps to keep the ocean at bay. The whole city is this mix of ancient temples and crumbling 21st century skyscrapers that are just rotting in the humidity because there's no power for elevators or AC. And how do they power this place? Get this. Megodonts. Giant, gene-hacked elephants that are basically living, breathing engines. They're hooked up to these massive contraptions called kink springs, which are like the next generation of batteries. These animals spend their whole lives treading in circles, winding up these springs to store massive amounts of energy. It's this crazy fusion of old-world animal power and futuristic tech. The whole city runs on the sweat of these engineered beasts. But the real secret to Thailand's success is their own genetic wizardry. They have a hidden seed bank, this treasure trove of old, extinct plants. And they have these gene rippers who are bringing them back from the dead. Suddenly, in the markets of Bangkok, you're seeing nightshades, tomatoes, chilies, potatoes, things that haven't been seen for generations anywhere else in the world. They're fighting back against the calorie monopolies with their own homegrown miracles. It's like a biological Cold War, man. A battle for the future of food, fought in labs and back alley markets. This is the world we get dropped into. It's hot, it's crowded, it stinks of dung and rotten spices, and everyone is hustling. Everyone's got an angle. It's a pressure cooker, and the lid is about to blow. Now, into this mess walks our first guy, Anderson Lake. On the surface, he's a farang, a foreigner, running a kink spring factory. He's supposed to be this entrepreneur trying to make a buck, but that's all a cover. This dude is a calorie man. He's a deep cover agent for AgriGen, one of the biggest calorie companies. His real job is to find that Thai seed bank. He's a corporate spy, a genospotter. His mind is a walking encyclopedia of plants. He can look at a fruit and trace its genetic lineage. He's like a detective, but his crime scene is an entire ecosystem. Anderson is this fascinating character because he's not just a straight-up villain. He's a company man, yeah. And he's ruthless. He sees the world in terms of assets and threats. but you also see this flicker of wonder in him. Like when he first tastes this new fruit, the engo. It's this red, hairy thing that just appeared in the market, another Thai miracle. And when he tastes it, he has this moment of pure, unadulterated joy. It's a flavor he thought was lost to history. It's a resurrection. For a second, he's not a corporate shark. He's just a guy tasting paradise. It's moments like that that make you see the humanity in him, even when he's playing this dirty game. He's a predator, but he's also a man who mourns what the world has lost. And then you've got his assistant, Tan Hock Seng. Man, this guy's story is heavy. He's a Chinese refugee from Malaya, a yellow card. He used to be a big shot, a shipping tycoon. He had it all. Then the green headbands, these religious fanatics, came through and just cleansed the country, slaughtered the Chinese, burned their businesses. Ok Sang lost everything. His family, his empire, everything. He escaped with just the skin on his teeth and ended up in Bangkok, a survivor. Ok Sang is this old, wiry guy who's just haunted by his past. He's constantly on edge, flinching at shadows, because he's seen the absolute worst of humanity. He works for Anderson, managing the factory, but he's playing his own game. He's a master of the quiet deal, the back alley bribe. He knows that in this world, loyalty is a luxury. His only goal is to survive, and, maybe, just maybe, rebuild a fraction of what he lost. He's plotting, always plotting, trying to get his hands on the factory's technology, trying to find some leverage he can use to build a new life. He's this tragic figure, a king reduced to a pawn. But he's a pawn who still remembers how to play chess. He's a walking, talking ghost of a fallen empire, and he's terrifying in his desperation. Now, let's talk about the title character, the Windup Girl. Her name is Emiko, and she is something else. She's a new person, a bioengineered human created in a Japanese creche. She's not born, she's made. She was designed to be the perfect companion for a rich Japanese businessman. She's beautiful, her skin is flawless, she's immune to diseases. But she's also different. Her movements are herky-jerky, unnatural. A stutter stop motion. It's a genetic flaw, a telltale sign that she's not a natural. She's a toy, a high-tech geisha, a wind-up. She was brought to Bangkok by her patron, Gendo-sama, who then just abandoned her, left her behind like an old piece of luggage. And in Thailand, wind-ups are illegal. They're seen as an abomination, an affront to nature and God. They're genetic trash. So Emiko is trapped. She's living this nightmare, working in this seedy club in Planchit, which is like the red light district on steroids. The owner, a crusty old Farang named Raleigh, uses her as a freak show. She's abused, humiliated, forced to perform for drunk businessmen who get off on the novelty of being with something not quite human. Her story is just heartbreaking, man. She was created to serve, to please. It's literally in her DNA. But there's this spark in her, this core of a soul that's fighting against her programming. She dreams of a place where she can be free, a mythical village in the north where other wind-ups are said to live without masters. Her existence is this constant, brutal war between her engineered nature and her desire for a self. She's a slave who's just beginning to realize she wants to be a person. She's this incredibly powerful, incredibly vulnerable creature. One expert, a scientist in the story, mentions that all wind-ups are built to be incredibly fast and strong, but their training and social conditioning keeps that in check. It's a chilling thought. This gentle, abused creature has the potential of a trained killer locked inside her, just waiting for the right, or wrong, stimulus to set it free. She is the ultimate outsider, a symbol of humanity's genius and its cruelty, all wrapped up in one beautiful, broken package. And finally, you've got Jaiti Rayanasukshai, the Tiger of Bangkok. This guy is a captain in the Environment Ministry, the white shirts, and he is a true believer. In a city drowning in corruption, Jaiti is incorruptible. He's a former Muay Thai champion, a genuine badass who is utterly devoted to protecting his country. He sees the calorie companies and the Farang traders as a cancer, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to cut them out. He's a bull in a china shop. He raids warehouses, burns illegal cargo, shakes down corrupt officials. He's a hero to the people but a massive pain in the ass to his superiors and the powerful politicians who are trying to make deals with the foreigners. He's got this partner, Kanya, who's his complete opposite. She's quiet, cold, cynical. She's the voice of caution to his hot-headed charge, but Jaiti is a force of nature. He represents this fierce, unbending Thai pride. He's the old world warrior trying to fight a new world war. He's a patriot, but his patriotism is so fierce it might just burn the whole city down. He's the kind of guy you'd want on your side in a fight, but you'd be terrified of what he'd break in the process. He's a perfect, beautiful, chaotic character. So you have these four people, and their lives are on a collision course. The Calorie Man, the refugee, the windup, the tiger, a corporate spy, a broken king, a manufactured slave, and a righteous warrior. And their stories just weave together in this intricate, explosive way. Anderson is hunting for the seed bank, Hoksang is hunting for an opportunity, Emiko is hunting for freedom, and Jaidi is hunting for enemies of the state. And Bangkok is the cage where they're all going to clash. The level of detail in this world is what really sells it. It's not just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing character. You can almost smell the reek of the durians in the market, feel the oppressive, humid heat, hear the groaning of the megodonts. The author pulls in real-world science about genetics and ecology and just pushes it a few steps further. He talks about how these plagues mutate every few seasons, just like the flu. So the calorie companies are in this constant arms race to create new resistant seeds. One expert in the book, a Grahamite priest who's also a scientist, talks about how the entire ecosystem has unraveled. With the loss of so many plants, the insects that depended on them died out, then the birds that ate the insects, and so on. It's a cascade of extinction. It feels so plausible, it's scary, and the politics are just as messy and real. You have these different factions all vying for power. The Environment Ministry, led by the hardliner General Praka, wants to keep the walls up. The Trade Ministry, led by the slick politician Akarat, wants to open the country up to foreign trade and make deals with the calorie companies. It's this classic battle between isolationism and globalism, between tradition and progress. And both sides have their points. Do you starve with your pride intact, or do you sell a piece of your soul to survive? There's no easy answer. It all comes to a head in this insane series of events. It's like a line of dominoes. A megadont goes on a rampage in Anderson's factory, which puts him under pressure. He needs to find the seed bank, fast. He hears a rumor from an old forong about Emiko, the Windup Girl. He seeks her out, hoping she has information. And she does. A young white shirt, bragging to a whore, mentioned a name connected to the new fruit, the Ngaw. This name leads Anderson to believe a top agri-gen scientist who is presumed dead is actually alive and working for the Thais. It's the smoking gun he needs. Meanwhile, Jaidi, the tiger, is raising hell. He conducts this massive, illegal raid on the anchor pads, the floating docks where the dirigibles unload their cargo. He burns millions of baht worth of contraband, publicly humiliating the Trade Ministry and their Farang business partners. This sets off a political firestorm. It's an active war between the two ministries. The conflict escalates until the someday Chopreya, the Queen's protector and the most powerful man in the country, is assassinated. And the killer? A wind-up girl. Emiko. After a night of horrific abuse at the club, something inside her just snaps. She unleashes that latent speed and strength and just tears through her tormentors, including the protector. It's this shocking, brutal explosion of violence. The city is thrown into chaos. This is the spark that lights the powder keg. Akarat and the Trade Ministry, backed by some rogue army generals and the money from Anderson's calorie company, launch a coup. They blame the Environment Ministry for letting the assassin wind up into the country. Tanks roll through the streets. Megadonts are used as war machines. The city just erupts. It's a full-blown civil war. The descriptions of the fighting are just insane. It's not clean, push-button warfare. It's brutal and chaotic and personal. In the middle of this chaos, Kanya, Gaidi's lieutenant, finds out that her own patrons in the government were likely involved in Gaidi's death and the setup of the Environment Ministry. In a move of incredible defiance, she decides she won't let the kingdom be sold out. She leads a last-ditch effort, not to win the war, but to save what's most important. She destroys the city's pumps and seawall locks. It's a scorched earth tactic, or rather, a drowned earth tactic. She sacrifices Bangkok to save Thailand. The end of the book is just, wow. The city floods. The capital is abandoned. The government relocates north. Akarat's coup has won him a drowned city. The agri-gen people arrive, ready to take over, only to find their prize is underwater. It's this powerful, bittersweet ending. The tiger is dead, the city is lost, but the kingdom, maybe, has a chance to survive, to start over, free from the old corruption. It leaves you with so much to think about, man. It's a story about the future, but it's really about today. It's about corporate power, and what happens when profit is the only motive. It's about the environment, and how fragile this whole system we depend on really is. It's about technology, and whether our creations will save us or destroy us. The wind-up girl, Emiko, is this perfect metaphor for that. She's a miracle of science, but she's also a weapon. She's a slave who becomes a killer. She's a thing that wants to be a person. Are we creating things that we can't control? Are we the masters of our technology, or is it mastering us? The book doesn't give you any easy answers. It's not a hopeful story, not really. But it's not completely hopeless either. In the end, Emiko finds a kind of peace, surviving in the ruins of the drowned city. She's free. Kanya, the cynical white shirt, becomes a leader, a new tiger, fighting to build something new from the ashes. There's this idea that even when everything collapses, even when the world we know is gone, people will find a way to endure, to fight, to rebuild. It's a dark vision, for sure, but there's a flicker of humanity in it that's powerful. It's a warning, but it's also a story about resilience. It makes you look at the world differently. You walk through the grocery store and you see all this food from all over the world and you think, man, this is a miracle. This is a delicate, fragile miracle that's built on a system we take for granted. This book gets you thinking about the real cost of things, the hidden machinery that keeps our world running, and how fast it could all fall apart. It's a wild, wild ride. So here's the thought I want to leave you with. In the book, they have the technology to create new people, to rewrite the code of life itself. But they use it to create better tools, better slaves, better weapons. They don't use it to solve the fundamental problems. So the question is, if we had that kind of power, right now, what would we really do with it? Would we elevate ourselves, create a better world? Or would we just find more efficient ways to screw each other over? See you next time.